Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode where I'm trying to do all the weekly challenges that Intercept Games posts in their Discord channel and in the launcher. And this week's, they are asking us to head to Minmus and circumnavigate it, plus some other crazy Jeb or Val level goals that are essentially impossible if you don't have a supercomputer or like a brain the size of a dolphin. Um, but anyways, that's why you see this kind of poorly designed ship with, you'll see later, an even worse design for how to deploy a rover. The gravity on Minmus is just so low, the rover ends up not even really working that well. So there's problems. This whole mission is sped up because it'd probably be pretty boring to just watch it in real time. But if you guys want that, I can start making these weekly missions or weekly challenges real-time playbacks. These are all uncut. I haven't done any quick saving or quick loading. Well, I've done quick saving, but I haven't done any quick loading. I try to do it all in one run if I can. So at this point, I'm just like messing with the inclination of my orbit so that I'm matching the orbital plane of Minmus. And I do one more correction burn after this to get it below 0.1% or 0.1 degree to 0 degrees exactly, which isn't necessary, but as you can see, it only uses 3 meters per second of delta V. So I choose to do it just so I can come in as close to the equator as possible at Minmus. Yeah, so as you can see there, I got an intercept, and I'm just waiting for the right time to burn, and hopefully they fix the burn indicator in future revisions. They just came out with the latest patch, which has some quality of life stuff to it, to the maneuver node system. And then I find out later that there's another issue, which actually happened to me in a previous mission, where your trajectory for your ship just completely disappears off of the map, and the only way that you can guess sort of where you are is based on your apoapsis and periapsis values in the orbital info section in the bottom left corner. So I have to do that later in the mission just to get back to Kerbin. But yeah, so I'm just doing my circularization burn here at Minmus, and originally I was going to try to land at the temple site, but I don't know why I chose not to. I just ended up going to the giant like salt flats area because I wanted to try to have some flat land to land on instead of some jagged land, because this lander, quote unquote lander, is very tall and top heavy, so I didn't want it to fall over. But ultimately in the end it's better that it fell over, because there would have been like no good way to release the rover. There's some issues with the collision mesh for the cargo bay that has the like rotating opening doors on this ship. I believe the collision extends beyond the doors of the cargo bay itself, because there's clearly like an opening that the rover could fit through, but it's not able to get through it. And that, like, compounded with some of the gravity issues I was having with there not being enough gravity, essentially, the rover was not really able to circumnavigate. Like, there's no way that I would have been able to do it. So I'm just trying to find a good way to flip over here and drop the rover down out of the ship. And then I'm learning here that the traction's too high because the gravity's too low. So the traction's too high and the ship is lifting up, and all the SAS controls are on. So when I hit W, it's lifting the nose of the ship. But then here I can see that there's a big enough opening, but it's like hitting some invisible wall. I try to close the cargo bays. It scoops up the rover and flips over, and I'm like sweating here because I haven't quick saved in a while, thinking that I just broke the rover. I activate the rover's engine, because this is an SSTO rover, at least for Minmus, and kind of shoot my way out of the cargo bay there. Here I'm trying to like see what the maneuverability and control of this rover is like on Minmus. If I turn the traction on the wheels all the way down, I'm able to drive a little bit, but then if I hit any bumps or go too fast, it just loses control. And I was worried about losing the antenna, which ultimately I didn't need in the long run because the remote core that I put on the rover had enough. at that little clip right there, I was trying to deorbit or launch away the booster that we landed with, but I lost control to it on the comm network for some reason. So yeah, just took off from Minmus, kind of like reminds me of the train from Back to the Future 3 that like travels through time a little bit, how it took off there. This is going to be just enough fuel to get back to Kerbin. There's a couple parachutes on here that should allow the entire rover to land safely. And I did run out of fuel at one point and had to use RCS thrusters to fully deorbit. As you can see right there, I was just using the sphere of influence indicator to realize when I was leaving Minmus orbit because there was no trajectory information. And now I'm watching the number in the bottom left there. I want that periapsis number to get down below the atmosphere. And at this point I had enough fuel to fully deorbit, but I was preparing for sort of in the future when maybe there is re-entry heating, I wanted to reduce the height of the apoapsis a little bit so that I wasn't coming in at such a steep angle. I know it doesn't really matter, but then I ran out of fuel, and so for a few seconds here during the time lapse, I'm just using RCS thrusters to try to finish reducing the periapsis below the atmosphere so we fully deorbit. I kind of gave up on the, idea of, dealing with the re-entry heating that doesn't exist yet. I was just curious to see if I could do it, but I think in practice, if there were re-entry heating, if you had a almost 12 or 1150 kilometer apoapsis and your periapsis was like that low, you would be coming in way too hot. Like we were coming in at like almost 3,500 meters per second. That, yeah, like this rover wouldn't be able to survive that. Cool, so we're just coming in for the landing here, and that's that. The mission was a success, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned and subscribe for more weekly challenges like this, and don't forget to like the video, and I'll see you guys next time.